There's a new school in town and it's taking Cape Town by storm. The Bridges for Music Academy is the new installment to the Langa township, and joining me today on the Heavy Chef hot seat is the operations manager from Bridges for Music, Thulani aka Fosta, and he's going to be telling us more about the work that they're doing out there. Good Fosta, welcome to Heavy Chef. First time we're having you. Really excited to be speaking to you because I know you're doing amazing things in Langa.
Sure.
So can you please tell us about Bridges for Music?
Well, firstly, thanks for having me here on Dela and Heavy Chef. Yeah, man, I'm Thulani, Fosta, known as Fosta, and I'm currently working with Bridges for Music, which is an NPO, non-profit organization, which was formed 7 years ago here in South Africa. Yeah, and basically we've been doing this great stuff, trying to develop young talents coming from the disadvantaged communities, man. Not only from Langa, but the whole of Cape Town. I mean, up to Soweto, you know. But it's been fortunate that we have our space now in Langa, and we're building the Bridges Academy finally. Yeah.
How important is it for organizations such as Bridges for Music for the country's development?
Well, it's very important, you know, and I mean, as we all know, that South Africa is quite rich in terms of creativity, and we've got a lot of stuff that I think the world needs to see, you know, and it's very important that we kind of like try to formalize, you know, or structurize the young talents from a very early age, you know, to nurture them to get to the proper direction so that they can reach the world scene, you know. Typical example of young musicians that are coming. I mean, like the whole of South Africa, we've got young producers. Each community that I know of has got one or two upcoming producers, and I mean, it's very important that we kind of like teach them to be able to run or kind of like see themselves as businesses or entrepreneurs from an early age, so that they can be able to be ready, you know, for the world, because there's a lot that happens out there, you know. Fortunately enough, we have seen it, and now we don't want the young or upcoming kids to go through the same you know, struggles that we've been through. So that's why we are putting such platforms as the Bridges Academy in place, so that we can assist these young talents for the future.
You yourself come from a music background. Can you please tell us about your music days?
Yeah, so basically I come from a family well known as the jazz pioneers, the Ngana brothers, my dad being a pianist, my two uncles being the saxophonist, Ezra Ngana and Hugh Ngana. They are all late, by the way. I just lost my father 2 years ago as well. And yeah, I come from that background, you know, but my mom never wanted me to be in the music industry. She always wanted me to be an accountant, you know, an academic. But, you know, I mean, if you are not meant to be an academic, you'll never be an academic, honestly speaking. For me, I feel like I was a creative from a young age. I started fiddling around with the piano from the ages of 8 years because I always saw my father playing piano and I always wanted to play like him. He was one of the best pianists in South Africa, one of the best music producers as well. So I started fiddling around. At an early age, I used to see my father playing piano with his bands. You know, there was an old band known as Beto, where Ringo Madlingo also came from. My father was part of that band. So I grew up around these people like Brenda Fassi. Our families were quite close. I grew up around these people, and I always had the love of music, and I always saw myself doing bigger things than they were doing at the time. So I always had the dream of owning my own label or starting up my own thing and my own movement, you know. And then unfortunately, I got caught up in the wrong side of things in my teenage years. But I think that was also a great moment in my life, you know, because that's when I kind of like realized that I needed to do something out of myself. I needed to come out. Basically, what happened is that I got caught up in the wrong side of things, as I mentioned. I got arrested, you know. I ended up in prison, and I was sentenced for some time in prison. And while I was in prison, that's when I kind of like had time to myself, you know, to reflect to myself and come back to my thoughts that, look, I needed to come out. I needed to, because I had something that other people didn't have, which was talent. And I needed to do something with this talent. I needed to create a product. I needed to be an encouragement, you know, to my community, so that other young kids don't go through the same things and do the same things that I had done. So I came up, I made up my partners, which was Cindy Sakima and Thulani DJ. And we started our own label, which was 021 Records. And at that time, I mean, even now, you know, there's this understanding in South Africa that you need to be based in Johannesburg in order to make it in the music industry, or should I say in the creative industry. So we were totally against that, you know, because we wanted to show the youngsters that it doesn't necessarily mean that geographically where you are based, it will impact you. There's nothing as such. As long as you've got the passion, you've got the hard work and the team, you know, and you pushing, you can do it. And from there, we started our own label, 021 Records, which kind of like represented Cape Town, because 021 is the talent code of Cape Town. And the very two songs that we produced, you know, became national hits. One of them was Kulula, quite a controversial song. Yeah, man. And I think our approach also was very clever in a way, because we became disruptive in the industry, even though we were not aware that we were being disruptive. But it's great to know that, you know, after so many years, that we kind of like played a role in changing the industry. Because what we did is that we were kind of like sick and tired of knocking in the major record labels, you know, and we kind of like drew up an equation for us whereby we had all these problematic sectors, which were the record label, the promoters, you know, and we took out all of those, people out of our equation, and we were left with us, the company, the product, and the market. So we kind of like identified where can we get our target market. We kind of like felt that we needed a younger market that we could grow up with. So we kind of like selected the high schools and the tertiaries. And then we sat down, we identified that within Cape Town, we've got plus minus 4 at that time, 4 tertiaries. And out of these tertiaries, 70% of the students, they're not Cape Townian. So what we did, we created our music, put our music on phones. Around that time, there was the Bluetooth and Mix It. We put our music on the phones. We went out to these tertiaries. Every time there was a break, we would come identify a certain group that's standing alone. We would share our music for free. Because we told ourselves, firstly, that we were not going to sell our music. Firstly, we wanted to create a demand, which is make sure that our name was out there. People knew about our name, so that's why we were handing our music out for free. And what happened is that come June or December, when all these tertiary students had to go home back to their provinces, automatically they kind of like distributed our music throughout South Africa. So after 2 months, we had released Kulula. Kulula landed on 5FM and was #1 on 5FM radio station without Euphonic actually known, because he was the presenter of the show at that time. Without knowing him, who the producers are, I remember we got a call, you know, from one of our local friends saying, guys, your song is on radio and they are looking for you guys. They don't know who it was. So that's how things, you know, started for us. And after that, we produced many more songs. We did great stuff, you know, yeah.
That sounds like a business strategy. Yeah. Meaning there's, you know, with music, business can be made.
Exactly.
Meaning that's entrepreneurship. So, you know, for people who don't know that being a creative means that you are an entrepreneur, like, what would you say to them?
I mean, honestly, I mean, I think this is an awareness that needs to be created out there. This is why young people need to understand the opportunities, you know, because you need to understand that being a creative, it's the same thing as being a farmer. You know, you are producing stuff that's needed by the market, you know, and bear in mind that you are kind of like bringing your innovation into life. So you are creating a product. So basically that means that you are part of the business, you are the business. So if you yourself respect that you are the business and treat yourself as a business, then the receiver would also treat you the same. So I think it's very important that we kind of like nurture and kind of like teach our youngsters from a very young age how to react and treat themselves and manage themselves. And that's why it's very important to have the knowledge around finance. You might not necessarily be an accountant, but to be an entrepreneur, it's very important to know such things, you know, to know how to move money, you know, how to invest, how marketing goes about. You don't necessarily need to study marketing, but it's very important that you kind of like understand all the aspects of the business, how they run from an early age. And then in that, because I find that in the current education system, these are some of the things that we are not taught. You know, we are not taught how to open a bank account, you know, in the current day. Exactly, which these are basics, which are very important things that I feel that it needs to be taught, how to manage your finances, how to create your own balance sheet as an individual, you know, because that's where, you know, discipline comes from, you know, because in order for you to run a business or to be an entrepreneur, you as an individual need to be disciplined first. So I really feel that these are some of the things that are needed out there. So I mean, so these are some of the small things that we are going to be touch-based, or we are going to be teaching at the Bridges Academy, because we feel that these are some of the things that the current education system is lacking on doing. So we want to get the youth to be ready for the 21st century skills.
What I love about the Bridges Academy is that it's not too far off from what Heavy Shift does. Bringing in speakers, who are doing incredibly well.
Sure.
And I know you guys have reached an international market. Sharon was there not so long. How does that impact then the youth? Because they're seeing someone they normally see on TV, and now the person is sitting right in front of them.
Like I think, actually that was the initial idea, because we had always went for the internationals. I remember when Valentino, the founder, when we met and he came about with the idea, it was that because Valentino used to be a promoter of Ibiza, so he had all these networks, and for him, he felt like the electronic music scene was not doing any good, to invest back into the disadvantaged community. So that was the idea behind Bridges when it started. So I mean, it has always been the drive to bring these international, recognized artists to the community, so that the young kids can also feel, quite close to them, instead of only just seeing them on TV. I mean, we've brought Richie Horton, we've brought Skrillex, Luciano, Black Boys Noise, Black Coffee, Zex Bantwini, Asha, Ed Sheeran, as you mentioned, Bonobo. And this is quite a huge inspiration to the young kids. You can imagine, having a big star that you never thought would walk down into your streets, and all of a sudden you are seeing this person here. So basically, this brings back hope also to the young kids, that they can be sitting as part of the audience, and at the workshop, but that doesn't necessarily mean that in the next 5 years they won't be the ones sitting on the couch, sharing their stories to inspire the others. So this is what that's where the idea of hosting the workshop was about, and also to get these internationally recognized artists to share their life stories, because we find that, we might think that they've never experienced the problems that we are experiencing in life, but when we sit down and we kind of discuss with them, or we chat with them, we actually find out that they've actually went through the same problems. A typical example, I've worked at Pick and Pay at some point as a shelf packer. I didn't know that Skrillex had been through such a same problem. He's also been a shelf packer. He's also worked at the restaurant, and you find that my career as a producer kind of kick-started when I decided to resign at the retailer, to stop working in this systematic same structure that Skrillex did. When he decided to resign, that's when his career kick-started. So I mean, you find that sometimes by sharing these stories, it kind of shows us that we are on the right track, and we should be keep on pushing. A typical example, Ed Sheeran, a couple of months ago, he came down to the school, and he spent it more than 10 years before he got known throughout the whole world. That's also inspiring. It just shows that your breakthrough, regardless on whatever that you are doing, doesn't take 5 minutes. It doesn't take a day. It can take you up to 15 years. The very most important thing is to stay persistent, stay pushing, and hardworking. Yeah.
So we've just come off. Well, it's still Youth Month.
Yeah.
June. How is the community, or the youngsters in Langa, and I guess in
surrounding communities?
Yes. How are they? How do they feel about having an academy such as this? Because surely it gives a lot of
well, actually, it's a life-changing. It's a life-changing, and they can't wait. We are not open yet, but we are going to be opening the 1st of August. Planning to do a soft launch around end of July. But however, even during the time of the construction, we always had people, youngsters coming in, knocking, asking when is the school opening. They can't wait to register. Even up until today, we've got people walking in and out. They can't wait. And fortunately enough, we also had another a program that we were running at the side of offering scholarship, every year to kids from the community. So each and every year we would sponsor 16 kids to go and study at SAE. So meanwhile we were waiting in the process of the construction period, we had that program going as well, which kind of like was inspiring as well to the young kids. So I mean, the kids are hungry, you know, they can't wait to get the space opening, and also coming, they do come in numbers to the workshops, and yeah, they can't wait. I actually can't wait to get the doors opening, so to see them coming and studying. Yeah.
And once they're in registered, what kind of different techniques or things will they learn?
So basically our syllabus, 50% of it is based around entrepreneurship, and then the other 50% is around audio, filming, and mindfulness programs, because we feel that it's very important that we kind of like nurture them in the entrepreneurship side, you know. So that's why they have to do the entrepreneurship side. There's very interesting topics, you know, within the entrepreneurship syllabus, which I think they're going to be very, very helpful for the young kids. And also around the mindfulness programs, you know, we're going to be introducing yoga, meditation, because we feel that it's very important, you know, for the young kids to get into, to understand, you know, and get into the state of flow and so forth, you know. And also looking around nutrition, because we feel that it's very important that as an individual you respect yourself, you know, you take care of yourself, in order to be healthy. Yeah.
So I want to know now from you, what's next? Do you still do music?
Yes. Yes. We still produce music. However, we haven't released anything for quite some time. We've been quiet. And this is basically because we've been focusing on the Bridges for Music project. And yes, we also do have a radio show through the Pioneer Radio DJ. That's on every Mondays. So we do host that radio show, and then which everyone can go online on Pioneer DJ Radio to get it or to listen to it. And then we are planning on quite a few releases, hopefully this year. And now that the school will be opening in August, at least we're going to have much more time to. So I have much more time, you know, with my team, because 021 Records does still do exist, even though a lot of people think we've been quiet. We do exist, and yeah, we're gonna be releasing quite soon. Yeah.
Thank you so much for chatting to me.
Cool, man.
Very interesting.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Andela, for having us and for having me and the Heavy Chef.
Well, there you have it. You heard it here first from Heavy Chef. To find out more about our learning experiences and future events, simply hop onto www.heavychef.com.